Okay, just a quick audio test. 1, 2, 3. Hey everyone, my countdown timer has almost reached 0, so I'll make a start on the live stream. I see there's a few people viewing this along with me, so thanks to anyone who's caught up. I did actually schedule this one, something I've not done before with a live stream. I've always kind of just done it at the drop of a hat when I got a chance. But I thought I'm going to do a bit of forward preparation and see how it works out. A few subjects I'm going to cover this evening. Aim to go on for maybe an hour. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, a couple of... I managed to do a live stream last week, which went pretty well. Had a few people comment on the video that I've left up. We'll have a look at one of them. Actually, it was quite interesting. Shortly. Right. Okay, looks like the oh, that was my last video. Right. Okay, I hope everyone is well, and I don't know about you, I don't follow mainstream media very much anymore. It's too painful, but there's a few stories that you can't avoid coming across. Right, hang on. Oh. What's going on here? 1 second. Oh, odd. I'm not able to bring my desktop up. I'll just try and fix that in a second. 1 minute. Alright, why isn't that working? Display capture. Okay. Right, what happens now if I go... No display capture, that's weird. Right, let me just try and fix it a minute. Hi to Tommy Lynch in the live chat. You'll often comment on my videos, always appreciated. Right, display. Okay, bear with me. We'll get there in a minute. Right, display capture. Okay. Anything? Well, this is weird. What am I doing wrong? We've got audio input, audio outputs. Right, hang on. Okay, you can bring that up easy enough. Well, this ain't going very well, is it? We'll get there in a minute, though. Why does that stop working then? Timers. Right, bear with me. I'm going to get this working. Right, audio output. Display capture 3. Yes, right. Display capture, add existing. This one. Nope, nothing. Odd. Well, apologies for that. Hang on. Right, what I may try is going offline, fixing it, and I'm going to start the stream again in like a minute, if that works with everyone. Can hear you loud and clear. I'm pleased to hear that, Tommy, but you cannot see my display. I didn't get that. Always worked before. Maybe if I go to a different scene. Hang on. Oh, that works. Right, okay. Bear with me. Okay. Yeah, I was going to look at the comments on one of my videos actually. Yeah, so let's see what I can find. Well, one of the stories that came up, we talked about it last week in the live stream, was about Prince Philip and the car crash. And one of my commenters on one of my videos, I'll just find it now. It was Jean Cam. Bobby, have you heard they won't take a police statement off the woman injured in the Prince Philip crash? They wouldn't check her over at hospital even though she explained she had more injuries and pains, and it was not just her arm that hurt. Her mate was driving and suddenly stopped talking to her right after it. So she has ended up going to the press. Now what do you think that is? Just a bit strange. I know it's not the subject. what do you think about the fact that none of the plane, not even a bit of oil found from the plane that Emilio Sala was travelling in? I wonder how long they were off radar before someone got to the scene. I'm sorry, but to find absolutely nothing, it's madness. God bless him. Well, we're going to look at both the Emiliano Sala and the Prince Philip story. And we also have one more that I want to take a look at, something a bit concerning. Bear with me for literally 30 seconds. Just got to prep everything now. Okay, we're back. Yeah, somewhat odd I thought about this Prince Philip car crash. If anyone's got any comments, share them. It'd be interesting to hear what you got to say, because as I said earlier, I don't follow mainstream media. I have no idea really what goes on in half of it. According to this story by The Guardian, we hear about how Prince Philip wrote a letter to this woman. What was her name? We got a picture of her somewhere, looking very annoyed. Right, yeah, there was something I found a bit curious. I just have to find it. Right. Okay. Here we are. I was somewhat shaken after the incident, but I was greatly relieved that nobody was seriously injured. As a crowd was beginning to gather, I was advised to return to Sandringham House by a local police officer. I have since learnt that you suffered a broken arm. Well, surely the standard procedure for a 97-year-old who's just been involved in a car crash, which, according to the pictures that came out, although we're not seeing them here, that actually involved the car going over on its side. I'm curious to find a picture of the smashed up car. Yeah, but anyway, like I said, I found that very curious that the police advised him just to go back to Sandringham. Don't bother going and getting yourself checked over or anything. That was a bit weird for my liking. Okay. But of course Prince Philip has now apologised to the woman, and she's all happy about that again. But as for not taking statements from the woman involved, nothing seems to have come up in any of these stories. Would they ever prosecute Philip? Doubt it. Is this even a genuine car crash? Again, I have problems believing that Prince Philip drives his own car. I mean, surely they've got an entire team of chauffeurs, haven't they? Right, I thought it was really nice that he signed off as Philip and not the formal title. I was pleasantly surprised because of the personal nature, she told the Mirror. Actually, if you look at the letter, it's all printed, and then he's just, or someone's just signed the name. A lot of people said it was unrealistic that I wanted that human kindness from Philip, which is what I saw this letter as. So she's all very happy now. Okay, on to the next story that came up in that comment. My other video, Emiliano Sala and the helicopter crash. Actually, a fellow YouTuber did a good video on this. I might spend a few minutes watching it actually. I'll just have to find it 1 second. Right, bear with me. Reboot the Matrix, I believe he's called. Although there's two with very similar names. Yeah, this guy. Right. Would Reboot the Matrix mind if we watched his video on here? Or maybe a few minutes of it? There's not a huge amount more I could add to it. Right, Reboot asks, Cardiff City's ritual sacrifice, or was it just another pesky hoax? Well, I know which way I'm leaning. And as I said, there was this story where his ex-girlfriend posted a bizarre mafia message after the plane disappeared. We could watch this video a second.
¿Cómo andan loquitos locos? Hermano, estoy muerto. Estuve acá antes haciendo cosas y no termina más. Así que nada, muchachos. Estoy acá arriba del avión que me parece que se está por caer a pedazos. Y me estoy yendo para Cardiff, loco, que mañana sí, ya arrancamos. A la tarde arrancamos a entrenar, muchachos, con el nuevo equipo. A ver qué pasa. Así que, ¿cómo andan ustedes, hermanito? ¿Todo bien? Si en 1 hora y media no tienen...
That's curious, isn't it? If in an hour and a half you have no news from me, I don't know if they're going to send someone to look for me. Now that is a bit bizarre, considering what then went on to happen. But yeah, like I said, this is in the Irish Mirror. Emiliano Sala's ex-girlfriend has claimed she doesn't believe the disappearance of the Cardiff Strikers plane is an accident. The 28-year-old was travelling from Nantes to the Welsh capital to join his teammates following his £15 million move. His plane was lost from the radar as it crossed the English Channel, and Salah is now feared dead. His former partner, Bernice Schkar, a French model, posted a cryptic tweet, which she later deleted before expanding on her message on Instagram. She initially said, "Investigate the soccer mafia because I do not believe this incident." Okay, she's not claiming the mafia had killed her boyfriend, but she's saying she doesn't believe the incident. Something I think I'd go along with. She later wrote, "I want to wake up and this is all a lie." Well, yeah. Please investigate because I do not believe this was an accident, or suspend a search for bad weather when they hardly find objects floating in the sea. And there they are together. I need to read that you showed up. I cannot believe they stop the search until tomorrow, that they lose time and do not investigate. I feel powerless. It's a nightmare. On Wednesday, rescue workers resumed their search of the plane. 2 planes took off on Wednesday morning to search a targeted area where there is the highest likelihood of finding anything based on a review of tides and weather. Coastal areas around Alderney and offline rocks and islands will also be searched from the air, police said. Curious. The search resumes after a WhatsApp voice message emerged that Salah sent to friends while on the plane bound for Cardiff. In the recording, the footballer says he is getting scared and aboard a plane that seems like it's falling to pieces. The search for the missing plane was suspended at sunset on Tuesday, with rescue teams finding no signs of the plane. The single turbine engine, Piper PA-46 Malibu, carrying the footballer and his pilot, has been missing since it disappeared off radar on Monday night. It left Nantes at 7:15 p.m. for Cardiff, and after requesting to descend, lost contact with Jersey Air Traffic Control. Yeah, good one. It's something you can always do whenever these events take place. Take a name and pop it into your numerology calculator. Piper PA is 60 in Chaldean and 77 on Pythagorean. Anyone not familiar with this calculator? It takes the value of the letters 1 to 9 and yeah, And there's always what you call a hoax code. That is where the video by Reboot the Matrix is really interesting. Perhaps we could take a watch of it.
Today, Emiliano Sala described his move to the Premier League as the dream of a lifetime.
Très content d'être ici avec vous. Et ça me fait énormément plaisir et j'ai hâte de commencer les entraînements. Et j'ai hâte de commencer les entraînements.
Soon after the formalities in Cardiff, he set off for Nantes to see the French teammates he was leaving.
That went wrong.
Back to Wales yesterday, he posted a picture of that farewell, the poignant yet tragic tagline, La Ultima Ciao, the final goodbye, the final goodbye, the final goodbye. Today, Cardiff City's chief executive reflected on how excitement has turned to sadness. Today, Cardiff City's chief executive reflected on how excitement has turned to sadness.
He was absolutely ready to give it a go, and we knew him then, and we really feel sad. We really feel sad.
Tributes have been left outside the club, tributes to a young man who might never have played a game for Cardiff City, but will always be remembered here.
As the hours turn into days, the chances of finding footballer Emiliano Sala alive grow increasingly slim. The plane he was in, this single-engine six-seater, a Piper PA-4...
Okay, N264DR. Let's have a look. N264DR is 30 in Pythagorean and 23 in Chaldean. That's 2 3s are 33. 23 is a very common number. When it comes to hoaxes, of course. Expander in the comment section. If it's a hoax, why? Well, in a lot of cases, it is good publicity for the club, good publicity for the players, for the people surrounding it. Even sometimes it's just to keep people occupied. Or, as this video is suggesting, could it be a ritual sacrifice? Do they do ritual sacrifices? I wouldn't doubt it. But is that what this is? Well, I'm not too sure. The ex-girlfriend certainly seems to think so. Oh yeah, as we see, Reboot the Matrix is about to put the numbers into
46 Malibu.
a calculator. Now, to be honest with you, half of this stuff, I don't have a clue. I don't know what full reduction, single reduction, full reduction, KV, No idea. Means. Let's put up a good bunch of numbers there. Like I said, I only make use of the one numerology calculator. So, we'll watch on a little bit further, and then I'll put a link to this video in the live chat if you want to go and check it out for yourself. That's a good one, Mane 2-0, I believe it was. Mane 2-0 on his top. Did I spell that correctly? Mane T-O-U. Yes, I did. Mane T-O-U. Well, nothing obvious there. But Emiliano is indeed 42. And now this is a great point. Reboot the Matrix brings up about how many Malaysian football club owners are involved in aircraft disasters. As we had, well, watch the video and see for yourself. Press the wrong button now. Okay, well, in the words of, what was her name? In the words of Berenice Shakir, investigate the soccer mafia because I do not believe this accident. I totally agree with you. She later wrote, I want to wake up and this is all a lie. Do you know what? I think I fully agree with you there, Berenice. Have we already checked her name? Let's have a look. Maybe we did. Shakir is 33 in Pythagorean. Curious. Does that explain everything? Nope. But it's one of the Easter eggs that always seems to come up in these hoax events. So who knows what's going on. Okay, right, the next subject I wanted to touch on. I'm sure, I don't know how many of you follow mainstream media. I try not to. Old Tommy Lynch has answered Expander about they have to keep the sheep occupied, and I fully agree with that. I mean, for example, I went and visited my mum the other day who has no interest in football, and even she's talking about the football player that went missing. And the amount of times I've told her, look, don't talk to me about the news, I don't buy it, she never seems to catch on. I think she does, but I'm not sure she's in full agreement with me on that. Hey ho. I try my best to point out my views to her, but some people are very set in their ways. Right, yeah, another subject that always comes up, no matter how much you want to try and avoid it, is Brexit. I don't know if I did mention this last week, and a very concerning headline I think I saw pop up today. Brexit planners could use martial law against civil disobedience. It's something we've been hearing about over the last few years, about martial law being put in place. And I mean, I always assumed Brexit was just something to try and fleece the taxpayer out of as much money as possible. And while it probably is that as well, could this be the next thing? Now, I don't want to start fear-mongering people into believing that we're going to have the army out on the streets any minute. But civil disobedience because of Brexit, no, rubbish. My advice to anyone is switch the news off, ignore it, and see how much it bothers you. Now, possibly the UK no longer being part of Europe could have effects in certain areas, but to be honest, life goes on. You don't need to follow that rubbish to enjoy life. In fact, if anything, it does the complete opposite. Should we read this nonsense from Sky? Right, Brexit planners are examining the possibility of martial law in Britain in the event of a no-deal Brexit, it has emerged. Whitehall officials are looking at how to use powers available under the Civil Contingency Act 2004 to stop civil disobedience after the UK leaves the EU. Hang on, why would there be civil disobedience? But right, according to a report in the Sunday Times, the legislation gives ministers the power to impose curfews, travel bans, confiscate properties and deploy the armed forces. A source told the newspaper the overriding theme in all the no-deal planning is civil disobedience. What? The overriding theme in all the no-deal planning is civil disobedience. Where are they getting this from? And the fear that it will lead to death in the event of food and medical shortages. Well, actually, what will more likely lead to death is taking people's property away from them and deploying the armed forces with all their guns. If you want to kill people, that's a great way of doing it. The event of food shortages. Oh, I mean, there's trees, vegetables, plants. Now, we're very well provided for in the United Kingdom for food and stuff, and there's no reason why we should have food shortages. Okay, the newspaper quoted another source as saying that planners were using the disruption caused by the volcanic ash in Iceland during 2010 as a model for possible disorder. The source added, although there is nothing that can replicate the scale of chaos threatened by a no-deal Brexit, which will be about 1,000 times worse than the volcanic ash cloud crisis, this is about the closest example we have in modern British history. What a load of trash. There is nothing that can replicate the scale of chaos threatened by a no-deal Brexit. Well, of course not, because it's never happened, and it never will happen. Except in the world of make-believe mainstream media. Right. The only thing that would be comparable would be something like a major Europe-wide war. My goodness. Responding to the news, Labour MP and Best for Britain campaign supporter David Lammy said, "This is a full-blown crisis. The government is recklessly drawing up plans for a colossal act of self-harm." Well, not quite self-harm, it's only self-harm if you're doing it to yourself, and these people won't be doing it to themselves, they'll be doing it to members of the public, from what this sounds. Through continuing on the path to Brexit, despite having achieved no consensus on a deal in Parliament, the government is preparing to declare war on itself. The idea that the government has any mandate for this catastrophic scenario is ludicrous. The Leave campaign promised a stable new tradition The Leave campaign promised a stable new trading relationship with the EU after Brexit, not total isolation and soldiers in our airport. What a load of trash. Right, a Downing Street spokesperson said respecting the referendum decision means leaving the EU. Now this is what it all comes down to. Well, not all comes down to, but one of the things is they're trying to say, look what happens when we let the people decide what's best for the country. Which I don't know. Do we think the the Brexit vote was rigged? I believe so myself. I don't believe we're given any real choice in referendums. But yeah, they're almost trying to say, look, this is what happens. Let's not let the people have any choice over how the country's run anymore, because this is what happens when we do. Complete load of nonsense. The PM has said there will be disruption in the event of a no deal, but as a responsible government, we're taking the appropriate steps to minimise this disruption and ensure the country is prepared. That looks like the roundabout in Swindon. A divided country. Should we watch some of these nonsense videos?
In general elections, this town is a litmus test for the mood of the nation. The same was true in the referendum. Swindon was part of the revolt against the EU. 55% voted leave. But forget Brexit stereotypes. This is neither a declining industrial town nor a UKIP attracting seaside backwater. It has a thriving tech industry. Honda is a major employer. There are numerous small industries. And underneath Swindon's factory roofs, the psychological struggle within Britain is being played out. Here at Wilson's Tools, many workers voted to leave the EU, but the company wanted to stay in.
Around the 55% mark probably voted to leave, so...
Yeah. And did you talk to them about the impact it would have on the business?
Yes, we did. At the last minute, we sort of got the feeling that a lot of people were going to vote for leave, so we started to communicate a bit more with them as what the effects would be in here.
Did you think it had any impact?
No. My guess would be it didn't change any viewpoints at all.
The factory makes tools for the metal industry. Because of Brexit, it's had to reconfigure its business, creating a company.
Right, what a load of trash. I did say that was Swindon now, didn't I? I believe they call it the Magic Roundabout. Anyway, I think that is just about enough on that. I guess I'll start winding down. I've covered the points that I was going to. I think. Oh, I was going to put a link in the live chat, wasn't I? Let's see. Huh, that's weird. Display capture's working again. There we go. Right. Okay, right, I'm going to put a link to the video that we watched from Reboot the Matrix into our live chat. It's just gone in now. Yeah, I've only had Tommy Lynch and Expander commenting tonight. They've all been very quiet, but at least you joined. That's something. I've been going for 41 minutes. The hiccup at the beginning didn't help, obviously. But never mind. Mr. Lynch, MSN appears to be a source of fear-mongering and fake news. Definitely agree with that. It is nothing but, unfortunately. And They do a very good job of it. Tommy and Expander, what do you think about the Prince Philip event? Do you think he genuinely crashed the car? Or do you think he gets driven around by chauffeurs? I mean, I'm sure there is footage of Philip driving. Well, it'd be interesting to have a look, actually. Let's see what we can find. Because it's like they say about Prince William, he's supposedly able to fly like one of these army helicopters. No, he doesn't. Apparently there was footage of him where it claimed, the newspaper article claimed that he'd been flying a helicopter, and someone pointed out that he was actually in the co-pilot seat or the navigator's seat. Right. Also, Prince William supposedly needs glasses, doesn't he? Oh, hang on. Right, let's go back to... Okay, yeah, I was just looking for any footage of Philip driving. Expander says it's BS. Yeah, I totally agree. He's the passenger here. Oh, yeah, like the Queen drives. Good one. I bet that was a staged, if not Photoshop picture. I don't know. Maybe he does drive, but I just find it hard to believe. See what videos we can find of him driving. Rare footage reveals Prince Philip was in another car crash in 1964. Okay, oh. There is a convenient photo of him driving. But we don't see much else. There's no blur on the I mean, that could be a stationary car. Otherwise, unless there's a photo with a very quick lens, wouldn't it be like blurry as it drives by? Anyway, let's carry on. Oh, there's a smashed headlight. Oh, sorry, a smashed wing mirror. Must be real. Philip was involved in another road traffic accident in Berkshire over 50 years ago.
Coming up the road where this car is now, and I changed where the car is now. I changed into second gear. I wouldn't have been doing more than about 25 to 30 miles an hour. I started the signal. I pulled in an angle on the road here, and the next thing I see was the Duke's cut. Well, now I know it's the Duke. He's coming straight for me, and he swerved. And he just caught me offside. He pushed me over right across this road into here. Well, I mean, the Duke got out first, and he just, says, "Oh, well, how are you?" And I said, "Well, I just grazed my knee, sir." And he says, "Oh, that's good." And he went back to the Queen.
Well, still no actual footage of Philip driving. Maybe he does, who knows. Beam me up, Scotty. Thanks for commenting. Prince Philip driving my ass. Was he nipping it for an afternoon drive? Exactly. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Tommy Lynch. Philip has finally apologised to the mum injured in his car in his crash and admitted he did not see the car in the low sun. Liverpool Football Club have banned the sun. Yes. Is that a reference to the sun? Okay. Well, I'm not sure if Liverpool Football Club have banned the sun, actually. I know lots of shops in Liverpool have banned the sun from being on sale, but I don't think the club themselves have ever made much of a... have been too vocal about actually banning the sun. And if you think about it, a lot of the money Liverpool Football Club gets comes from Rupert Murdoch, and Rupert Murdoch is in charge of Sky, and Sky, Rupert Murdoch also owns the Sun newspaper, so it's a bit of a conflict of interest for a football club, a Premier League football club, to come out and say we're going to ban a newspaper. I don't know, I believe the Liverpool Football Club are probably as deep in the deception as everyone else. Another thing the YouTuber Reboot the Matrix has been covering is hoaxes in football, hoaxes in sport. Something I agree is going on. Currently we see Liverpool like winning the top in the league and doing really well. Is it? And I don't know if you noticed, when they played Everton in the 96th minute, there was this really ridiculous goal where the keeper stopped the ball going out of play and put it in the path of the striker. And then I think in a recent game Liverpool played, I can't think who they were against, 4-3. I want to say Watford, but I'm not sure. Anyway, the keeper again messed up at what should have been a simple clearance in order to let Liverpool score. All a bit weird. Right, expand it. Emiliano Sala is 666 in English gematria. Okay, I'm not familiar with English gematria. Perhaps we should look it up. Okay. English Kabbalah or English Kabbalah refers to several different systems of mysticism related to Hermetic Kabbalah that interpret the letters of the Roman script or English alphabet via their supposed numerological significance. Interesting. Yep, so similar to Chaldean and Pythagorean. Anyone not familiar with them? If we look at Chaldean numerology, go to images. There should be one for both actually. Yeah, here is Chaldean, this one. I expect most of the people watching this will be familiar with this. I tell you, where I first started coming across it was Russian vids, where he started pointing out things like Fox News equals 666, Triple X 666, and apparently Emiliano Sala, according to Expander, is 666, which is very curious. That being the human number that is that the Book of Revelations tells us we can identify the Bible from. In case you're not familiar with the in case you're not familiar with the significance of the number, I was talking to someone actually who said he, was very familiar with the Bible, and he does seem to be, and he kind of made the claim that it was a mistranslation, 666, and really it should be 610 or something like that. I'm not sure about that. He is the only person I've ever heard come across that. Expander suggests we use the Gemetrix website. That we will. Gemetrix. Let's have a look. Is that it? Gemetrix? No, probably not. Gemetrix. Maybe I've misspelled it. I'm gonna say it's that one. Yep. Interesting. I'll see what mine comes up as. Bobby Zines equals 1100. And Jewish Gematria 714119. The problem I have is I have no idea what half of these numbers refer to. Obviously I know 33, 66, but I do miss it. Okay, that looks interesting. Is diametrically opposed is also 1100, and curious. Thank you for the tip, Expander. Tommy agrees. Russian Vids breaks down all the fake news. Yes, he does. Great video. Let's see what number our Tommy is. We could be revealing 1081. Oh, English is 888. I don't actually know what that means, but it's a pretty cool number to have. Tommy Lynch is not in our Demetria database. Is that to say Bobby Zines is? I don't know. Nope. That looks like a very curious website. Type in seller's name. Good thinking. Let's check I spell it correctly. Right, without checking. Oh no, I've got it here. Emiliano. 1 L, isn't it? Interesting. 666 and 111. That's curious. I would have to look into how M, for example, is 30 or O is 50. I mean, I don't understand that myself, but I'm sure it's all in here. If I wanted to... curious. Interesting. What was the girlfriend's name? Bear with me. Because the surname Shakair, sorry, comes up. It comes to 33 in Chaldean, I believe. Okay, Berenice Shakair. 350, 780 and 130. I mean, 13 on its own, is that a hoax number? I don't know. Curious. Yeah, I might have to spend some time looking at some of this. Yeah, Tommy, same here. Bobby Zines in anyone's database either, which is great. Do you know, I was aiming to go on for about an hour on this one, and I think that's we are coming up to that, so I will start signing off. I would like to show my appreciation to Tommy, Expander, Beam Me Up Scotty, for keeping for commenting in the chat. Makes it a lot easier. Do you know, Sunday evening seemed to be a pretty good time for me when I'm free. So, depending on being hit with strikes and whatnot, I'll see how well. I'll see whether I'll be back next Sunday, possibly, maybe, or if not, I'll certainly be back soon. I'll try and schedule it as well. And yeah, especially Tommy Lynch, thanks. You've always shared great information on videos that I've done in the past, particularly where the events that took place in London back in 2017, like the bridge stuff, the stuff on Westminster Bridge, the stuff up in Manchester. Yeah, you always shared really great information on that. I would like to see the videos that, I'd love to see you bringing some videos out one day. I bet you could bring out a lot of entertainment. Okay, yeah, thanks Expander for joining, and everyone else. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your weekend, what is left of it. Tommy Lynch, yeah, you're right. It was a bit slow at the start. Hopefully next week or next time it'll be a pick up a bit more. Right, I think my problems at the beginning with with my display capture wasn't very good. Don't know what went wrong there, but we got there in the end. Right, guys, thanks ever so much, and I'll catch up with you soon. Cheerio.